Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be unboxing and flipping through the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Jonathon Hunt. Now, if you watched my video last week, I think I did say in it, hey, the UPS guy is delivering a new deck to me that I'm not putting in this video, but this very much could go into my last video that I did last week with my favorite Halloween themed decks, and that's what this very much is. As you can see, the kid dressed up as the ghost. I mean, it might be a kid, it might be an adult, I'm not sure, but you can see the trick or treat. That's very much Halloween season, and I always love adding new decks this time of year because there's so many great ones out there. And this one, that's why I fell in love with this one. You can see there on the back you've got a lot of the illustrations, but we don't know exactly what they look like until we get this box open. You can see it's very much still in the plastic, so I'm going to remove that and I'm going to share this deck with you. It's been out for a couple years now, I believe. I don't know exactly when it came out, but so it's not brand new mass market, but it's one that's extremely popular, especially this time of year. So I will leave a link in the description below where you can purchase it for your own collection if you want to do that, or you can just enjoy seeing all the pictures and stuff. And here in a few days, well, probably tomorrow after making this video, it will be sharing its energy of the day for our daily readings that I do on social media. I'll share all that information in the link below, but we'll get right into it, shall we, and see what the cards look like. Now I've digged a little hole here with a pair of scissors so you get the plastic right off, so you don't have to see me do that. It's kind of like a Christmas present, opening it is part of the fun. And every time we get a new deck, if you're like me, it's the most exciting time ever. And it was difficult for me to be able to hold this off until this week to make the video. But, I wanted to stay true to what I do, so that's what we did. There you can see the plastic is off of it, and very much awesome box. It opens like that. You can see it hasn't been opened before, so it's very stiff right there. But it reminds me of the boxes of the Everyday Witch Tarot, which is a very popular deck this time of year, and the Tarot in Wonderland as well. And I believe Tarot in Wonderland, that was created by Barbara Moore as well. So she is a genius when it comes to the books written in there. But she's a lot like me personally, when it's I can write the book, I know the tarot like the back of my hand, but someone else is going to illustrate it for me because I don't have that talent. So she definitely has the talent behind the writing. Some of us have that, some of us are more illustrators, so it's great to collaborate like that. So we're going to open the box. You can see there, ooh, the purple, absolutely gorgeous, and that's probably the backgrounds there. You can see the diamond pattern around it and the skulls and everything. You got the guidebook right here written by Barbara Moore. Very nice, very thick guidebook. You can see colored illustrations and everything, so this is beautifully done. We get an idea there, so we have an awesome guidebook to go with us to inspire us with different ideas. See the back there with the on Halloween and beyond. So yes, this is an awesome deck for Halloween, but you can use it any time of year. Come on, people like to celebrate Halloween year round. You should see my decorations when I do festivals and stuff. It all comes from the Halloween stores. We have the deck here, and you can see it's very much still in the plastic as well. So you gotta get that off there so you can really look at the cards. There we have the Fool at the beginning. I'm gonna take this box. You can see it's even illustrated there on the bottom, so we'll see what this card is. A little shadow there, sorry about that. But we can see what this card is when we get into the deck, and that's exactly what we're going to do now. Set that aside, and I'm going to do this just like I always do, so you can really look at the illustrations, maybe zoom in a little bit so we can see them better. You can see there we have the Fool, and that's the character on the very front. We saw him right there. He's got the same little shirt and everything on. He's got his red shoes on, and he's out for trick-or-treating. And as adults, it kind of sucks, honestly, that we can't go trick-or-treating door to door and get candy too, but maybe that's an excuse to take our kids out. So if you got kids and that's coming up, I'm very happy for you. We have the Fool right there. We move on. They're a little bit sticky together, I can see that now, but new decks are going to do this. Pull them apart, set the Fool there, and then we have the Magician. And this is an awesome illustration of the Magician. It's very much reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith. You can see the guy there throwing all the cards around and everything. He's got his table with all of what he needs on it to succeed, to make his magic happen, and it's just very beautifully illustrated. And then we have the High Priestess, and you can see her there, very modern looking fortune teller. She's got her pomegranates even there, her crystal ball, and her cards and everything. And she's dressed in the blue that we know from the High Priestess of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and she's got a purple too that kind of matches the background that shows the mysticism and everything she has. We move on to the Empress next, and the Empress, very cool illustration of her dressed up for Halloween. You can see there that she's like a kangaroo, and you know the kangaroo, the little Joey lives in her pouch the whole time, so very much great representation of the Empress. And the Emperor is next, the guy from the Sleepy Hollow, headless horseman there. We're holding his pumpkin head. So cool illustration there, cool Halloween costume. Like if you could just hide your head and go around like that, you'd definitely be spooky and might win contests. You've got his little faithful companion down there too that's running along with him. The Hierophant is next. Oh, and this is definitely, it's Mr. Rogers. I can see that 100% there with the guy wearing his sweater there, and he's got the steps right there and everything. So it looks like Mr. Rogers, and he's definitely, when you think of the Hierophant, someone that inspires others, someone that teaches others, has them follow their own path and way, but tells them to like lead with love. That is Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and that reminds me of this card so much. Move on to the Lovers next. It's got major Morticia and Gomez Adams vibes. I am loving this deck. I'm loving the inspiration and everything behind it because it's so spooky and so beautiful. And this is like one of the most beautiful illustrations of the Lovers I've ever seen. Move to the Chariot next. And it's reminiscent of like Dr. Seuss. And you've got the two characters right there and the cat in the hat in the middle. So like taking forward, taking control, being a little bit weird and being yourself and driving yourself forward. Perfect illustration of the Chariot. Strength is next, and it's kind of like, I don't have like a specific thing in mind of what this one inspires me for, but you have this illustration, and it's like the woman holding the lion's mouth open in the Rider-Waite Smith. She's comforting this character, this one, because maybe he was treated badly, maybe someone didn't like his costume, and she's calming him down. So that shows that kindness and compassion that is needed for internal strength as well. The Hermit is next, and it's one of the more lively illustrations of the Hermit because we have the characters down here and we have the guy on the top of this house as well, and perhaps these are all spirits that have passed on, and so it's a message of spending time in solitude to learn the secrets of your soul can also connect to the powers that be and the ones that have passed on. So that's a really cool meaning and illustration of the Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune is next, and it's the guy like he's like from the Matrix or something. I get Matrix vibes from this one. And he's throwing candy and stuff. So, you know, when you take it, like go out trick-or-treating and stuff, and you go to these different houses, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Personally, when I would go to houses and I would get those little, these remind me of, and they were orange and black little peanut butter taffy things. Oh, I could not stand those things. I knew people that loved them, so I'd trade them for them. And I was always someone that would, be very grateful for anybody that gave me anything, but this just reminds me of that awful candy. And when you go trick-or-treating, you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get. One time I got like a can of Coca-Cola. Another time I got like a giant Reese cup, like a king-size Reese cup. So there's always like good things that come from it, but also those times when the things that they give you just they're not worth eating. Personal opinion of that, you might love those peanut butter things, and I'm nowhere near judging you or thinking like anything negative about the fact that you do it. To each their own, there's a reason they exist. Justice is next, and we have the character dressed up as the Statue of Liberty with a guy that kind of looks like the guy from the Monopoly series with his money and everything, you know, be fair, keep your money balanced and that kind of thing. So very cool illustration and take on justice. The Hanged Man, we've got the vampire upside down with his little bat, perhaps his cat. Kind of cool illustration of the hangman. I like the colors of it. It's very reminiscent of Halloween and stuff, and just taking that time, you know, having patience as you wait for Halloween to come. Death is next, and we have the illustration of Death right here, the Grim Reaper, handing the white rose, you know, purity and innocence. When something comes to an end, you're able to begin something again. Getting beautiful sunset illustration here with Death. He's giving it to this girl here that might be a little bit scared of things coming to an end. But Death is one of the most empowering cards of the tarot. When you are able to let go and you're able to let what no longer serves you die, you can find what truly does and begin something new. Temperance is next, and the illustration of Temperance. I love the fact that down here it says readings. I don't know if you can see that it's below that, but she's kind of mixing like the old with the new and making something new, and she just reminds me of me. And Temperance is astrologically connected to Sagittarius, so like that fun and whimsical illustration of this, it just really speaks to me. I like that. Devil is next, based as or shown as a woman, and I love this kind of illustration. I love the devil cards when they're women because it just kind of shows, hey, we can be evil and you know, keep you tempted and make you like feel like a prisoner too, just as much as a man can. So beautiful illustration of the devil right here. You've got her web of lights behind her, so you have that web that's going to keep you prisoner when you find the woman that just seems to tempt you with all that's good, all that tastes good, all that you enjoy. She's got the alcoholic beverage there and everything. So cool illustration of the devil. The tower is Frankenstein, so definitely cool illustration there. He's actually breaking the tower in the illustration. It's just very reminiscent of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein and just the destruction he could do. But at the same time, when you learn from those experiences, he just wanted friends, he just wanted family. And so when you're able to break down those walls and learn from where the tower has collapsed, you can decide what you want to do better moving forward. And kind of, Frankenstein actually kind of did that in a way. It's been a long time since I read that book, but definitely that story of Frankenstein can relate to the tower if we think about it that way. The star is next, and you can see her there, a princess dancing in the starlight or under the moonlight, just being her unique original self. And that's kind of the energy of the star, just being true to who you are, believing in yourself, following the path that feels right to you, astrologically connected to Aquarius. And it shows like after the collapse of the tower, you're allowed to begin something new. That's when your hidden talents can really shine. And so she's definitely showing her hidden talents, the fact that she's a ballerina and she can do things like that. And she's taking advantage of the light around her to show people what she can do. The moon is next, and you can see here she looks like a high priestess, you know, bobbing for apples and stuff. And it kind of shows like those dreams and stuff. When you go beneath the surface, you can see there like the apples, so she's going to have to go into that water in order to catch those apples. And it's the same thing with the moon. You have to dive deeply into those emotions, whether they're dark, you can't really see through them, and they're negative or anything like that. Learning from them, trusting your dreams that the universe is sharing with you, can help you create the life that you want and really make those dreams a reality. Then we have the sun, and we have the illustration here is the girl as a sunflower. She's got her little cat there. That cat looks a lot like my cat Dash. And you've got the cake and everything there, and it shows kind of reminds you of a birthday because she's got her birthday cake there. At least that's how I see it. Like it's a Halloween party, perhaps it's not a birthday, but when it's that day, when it's our birthday, and we're really like, well, that's when we're celebrating our sun sign and really having fun and celebrating who we are and having that day in the sun. So it's very, very perfect for the sun card, I believe. We have Judgment next, and we have the illustration of the graveyard and the character sitting up there blowing the horn in the graveyard, sitting there part of it as everybody raises up. So forgiving the past, learning from it, and knowing that another day is going to come. That's beautifully illustrated as Judgment. And then completing the major arcana, we have the illustration from the beginning. Very much the illustration on the front of the box, and it brings us back like full circle from the Fool that we began with, because you'll remember, and I can do this pretty easily, there he was beginning his journey, and you can see all the characters and stuff he met in the major arcana, and he's made his way home. He feels on top of the world because look at all that candy he's collected. So he's met a lot of people, he's had a lot of experiences, and that is the Fool's journey through the major arcana and through the world. And it's such a cool way to do it, and I love this deck so far. But now we're going to get into the minor arcana, and you can see here it begins with the Ace of Wands, very red, very much showing that we had the magic, we had the passion. When we have that passion and we follow that passion, then we can begin creating the lives we truly want. So like the card of inspiration and passion and fire, very subtle, very much handing you the hand, like just like the Rider-Waite-Smith, you know, handing you that wand, and you can see they're handing that wand to you as well, taking those ideas that you're passionate about and really beginning something with them and making them grow. Two of Wands is next, and it's a character that's dressed up as a zombie, and you can see there she has choices. Does she want to follow and eat the brains, or does she want to do something differently? You can see the door there behind her, so showing that, you know, when we have a choice, we want to start a passion and do something new, then taking the door, choosing the door that we're most passionate about is going to help us succeed. Three of Wands is next, and you can see there the character surrounded by what looks like swords, kind of with little pumpkins hanging from it. He's got he's really created his makeup, it seems, because his eyes like falling out, or maybe this is a very, very dark and twisted deck, and he's been abused, he's been fought and stuff like that, but he's impassioned enough to walk away from that, and that's kind of that illustration that I feel like I see here. Four of Wands is next, card of celebrating what we're passionate about, a wedding, a celebration, or something like that. And this reminds me of the Empress and showing like the baby and the child right there, you know, having our parties, doing the things that we're passionate about, and celebrating that passion that drives us forward, that makes us the strong foundation that we are. Five of Wands, bunch of children there fighting with each other, and, you know, immaturity, different people's passions conflicting, that kind of thing, very much reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith. Six of Wands, the card is celebrating the victories, no matter how small, the ones that we're passionate about and we succeeded at. You got the guy on the horse there, you know, he's won his prize. He's got the little thing right there, the jousting competition he was in. Everybody's surrounding him, celebrating him, so that's a cool illustration. With the Seven of Wands right here, the card of defending what we're passionate about. You can see there he's getting like sticks and stuff thrown at him, so he's definitely defending himself. Eight of Wands, bats, things moving quickly because of our passions. If you hear weird thumping sounds in here, it's my cat. She has the zoomies right now and she's like running from room to room. So if you hear a little thud thud, that is Dash landing when she jumps over things. Eight of Wands, like I said, passions moving forward, you know, the bats taking flight when our own passion and ideas, this reminiscent of the moon, taking those dreams that we're passionate about, really growing them and letting other people see what we have to offer can make life move more quickly. And then we have like the members of the good guys of Star Wars, and you get his lightsaber there, you know, may the force be with us when we're defending what is ours. And you see he's got his bag of candy there and he's got all the things sticking up and he's willing to defend what he's passionate about, and he's passionate about that candy. 10 of Wands, feeling overwhelmed by those passions. You can see he's very much overwhelmed by all those sticks he has, but he's going to make it to his goal because, again, it's something you're passionate about. And a great memory or a great message with the 10 of Wands is even if it's your passion that you're growing, you don't have to do everything on your own. And you see the characters over here in the background. He could easily ask them, you know, could you help me carry these sticks, these wands, and they'd probably help him. Page of Wands is next. A cool dragon illustration there. You know, he probably had this idea that he wanted to create this costume. This is a costume that you likely couldn't purchase outright, and it's like they're proud of themselves. They knew what they wanted to begin. They knew what lit their inner fire, and they made it. So now they can celebrate that, and they're passionate about it. Knight of Wands is next, and it's illustrated as a gladiator costume. And I love the little like stuffed little horse down there that's carrying it. Very, very awesome, and it shows like those passions that can fuel us forward. But perhaps he had a cute idea after he had the Spartan idea, or Sparta, or whatever it's called, the gladiator idea. He had a little idea of like make it more cutesy. So that's a message of caution that I always see with the Knight of Wands is, you know, one thing might light your inner fire, and then you might find another thing that changes your whole idea and makes you begin something new. So while it is important to soldier on, to follow your passions, to find success with them, to really lead with them, kind of like the Queen of Wands, you know, the creative queen of the court, taking those ideas and running with them. In order to succeed at them, we have to stay focused on one goal at a time. That's in our best interest. It's a beautiful illustration of the witch of the Queen of Wands. She's got her fiery little hat there. She's got her wand thing, and she's got her black cat. So she's making magic, she's creating magic, and that's the beauty of the Queen of Wands is, you know, she's not afraid to be different. She's not afraid to be like a woman in a man's world, taking her ideas, the one she's passionate about, and really creating with them. And then we have Dracula, I believe, as the King of Wands. I could be wrong. He looks like he's sitting in a coffin. He's got that blue or that purple clothes on. The purple of his room kind of shows just how his passion has helped him succeed in life, and he's really sitting there appreciating all the things that he's achieved because of his passion. And I like the little touch of the mouse right there. There's probably a whole spiritual meaning that might be in the guidebook there of how the mouse kind of relates, but he's like kind of his animal friends too and everything. So awesome illustration of the King of Wands. And then we move to the Suit of Cups, and we have the Ace of Cups there, hand holding just like in the wand. Awesome, awesome, awesome cup of the Suit of Cups. I love that skeleton. If this thing actually existed, I would definitely buy it, and I'd probably drink out of it every day because it's just so cool. Two of Cups is next, the emotionally fulfilling partnerships. And you can see Romeo and Juliet forever right there, and they're toasting their cups. She's dressed up as Juliet, he's dressed up as Romeo. So awesome illustration that reminds us how far we can go for love. Three of Cups, three witches celebrating their relationship together. Kind of reminds you of the Disney's Hocus Pocus, and you can see the three sisters there celebrating and toasting their cups to each other for a successful spell well done. We have the illustration here of what looks like Reptar from Rugrats. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. That was a 90s kid show. That shows my age, honestly. But the Reptar was like the the cartoon character, something that they all watch all the time on TV, and that just really reminds me of that. But you can see all the candy and everything is laying there, and the person, if you look really closely into that illustration, he doesn't or she doesn't look very happy about all the candy that they've received. So that's represents like the boredom that even if it once emotionally satisfied us, we're just not finding that interesting anymore. Five of Cups is next, and we have she's looking all at all the things that have fallen. We have the Two Cups behind it, which reminds us very much of the illustrations of the Five of Cups that we all know and love. But she doesn't look like that sad about it, and so I'm a little bit more disappointed about this illustration because she just like I don't know how to do this like talking unless showing my face, but you can see there it's like, oh dear, like sarcasm kind of, not that upset about what's been lost. But interesting illustration nonetheless, and it very reminiscent of the Five of Cups because you have the three cups down here that have lost their contents and the two cups up here that still have potential. And I really love this illustration of the Six of Cups because the character up here does not look all that positive and happy as he's handing the character dressed up as a pumpkin that nice little cupcake there in a cup, because a lot of times this is the card of nostalgia and remembering our past and reflecting on it so we can learn from it. It relates to the lovers of the major arcana, you know, loving who we are despite our past, and this has that negative connotation to me, and there's nothing wrong with that. When we look at our own past, there might be experiences in it, even in our childhood, that we're not proud of, that just don't sit right with us, that just fill us with sadness, but there's still something to learn from that. And I think this illustration reminds us of that, that not everything in our past might have been kind and wonderful, but there's still lessons to be learned from it. And you can see like the cups down here, they're not as pretty necessarily as the one up here because this one seems to have the orange pumpkin that says like this is made for you, but really cool illustration, very very reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith where the guy or the boy is handing the younger girl a cup with a flower in it, but we have like the illustration there, and it's just, maybe it's just the clown there and his like creepy face that makes me think like doom and gloom and negative. But you know, our past might not have been that kind. We might have had doom and gloom and negativity in them as well, but learning from them and loving who we are today despite them can help us move forward with confidence. The Seven of Cups is next, and I'll be honest, this is actually the illustration that made me fall in love with this deck. I have a calendar in my room. It's I think it's I want to say it's Lewin's, the ones that created this deck or published this deck. I think it's their tarot calendar, and every month you either get like a picture of a card in a specific deck, or you get like a different spread you can use and stuff like that. And this is the illustration they have for the month of October. So when I saw this, I was like, hey, this is the first time I've actually bought a deck wanting it because of a card I saw on a calendar. I do this at least once a year. It's a really cool calendar to have. Doesn't give you a lot of information like say the witch's calendar does, where you have the different aspects and the planets move into different signs and stuff, but you know, you get different spreads that can inspire you to like to get out your cards, and you can inspire you to get different decks too. And you can see Tinkerbell there dressed up like her, looking at all the different cups and stuff that have different potential. You can't really see any of the contents in it, but they have different symbols on the front. Like this one kind of looks like an exclamation point and a triangle, so it's kind of like using caution. This one kind of looks like it has a skull, so you know this might be a bad idea, but it kind of gives you like this idea of the choices you have. Some might be emotionally fulfilling, some might be good for you, while others might be too good to be true. The Eight of Cups is next, and you can see there you've got the 7 cups down here. Yep, there's 7 there, and there's 1 cup up there, and so this is a cool illustration of the Eight of Cups. Because a lot of times when we have this illustration, we don't see or we don't know what's going to await us when we leave behind what no longer emotionally satisfies us. But in this illustration, we see that he's leaving all the little ones behind because he knows something bigger and better is waiting for him. So cool take on cool take on the Eight of Cups. It's very reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it gives you a little bit more than you had in the Rider-Waite-Smith, because it says, hey, I know I'm leaving behind all this stuff that no longer emotionally satisfies me because I'm going to find something that really does. We have the Nine of Cups next. She's dressed as a mermaid sitting there, and she's appreciating like all the cups and everything that are around her. I love this illustration because I've gotten obsessed lately with these mermaids you see on like social media, like swimming and stuff in their tails. Marbella Studios, the Mermaid Raven, I think she's my personal favorite. Like such a talented woman creating these silicone mermaid tails that you can actually swim in. And so she's like sitting there and she's appreciating all like the fruits of her labor, all that she's has emotionally satisfied in her past. This is the wish card of the major arcana. She may be wishing that she was a mermaid now, but at least she can you know, enjoy being one for the night. So really cool illustration, and you see like the creature from the Black Lagoon right there too. So awesome illustration of the wish card, showing like on Halloween you can make those wishes come true. You can be something different. You can take your ideas and like create something with them. You can do that every day, but like Halloween, it's just more fun to like dress up and just be unique and weird. Awesome illustration of the Ten of Cups, the happy family card. So many times in the decks that we know, the happy family always consists of the mother, the father, the son, and the daughter. Here though, we have the characters from the Wizard of Oz. We got the Scarecrow, we got Dorothy, we've got the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man, who happens to be a robot in this one. I don't see Toto, which, you know, that's my little complaint about this deck. You can see the flying monkeys hanging and everything. But this is a reminder that it doesn't have to be a mother, father, son, and daughter to be a happy family. Your friends, the ones you can just be yourself with, the ones that emotionally fulfill you, your soul family, those are very much a part of your happy family as well. So this reminds us of that. And I love this illustration because I've never seen one that really speaks of this like this one does. And it shows like Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion thing. They were a family. They were the happy family, and together they could do anything. So when you find that soul family and you find the ones that emotionally fulfill you, you know, you feel at home, you feel happy, and that is your version of the happy family. It's whatever you feel comfortable with and what makes you feel fulfilled and complete. Get to the Page of Cups next, and we see the character there dressed as a jellyfish. That is such a cool idea for a Halloween costume. I am getting so much inspiration of how I want to dress up for Halloween next year. I'm always either a witch. This year I'm a fortune teller. Yeah, I'm giving away my secrets there, but awesome illustration. It just shows like the creativity that we can create. You can see the fish jumping out there and she's going after it. Hopefully she can get it back in the cup. She didn't have enough water for it anyway, so hopefully that's not a real fish. But beside the point, you know, when you have these emotionally fulfilling ideas like the Page of Wands said, you had that dragon with that Page of Wands, you can take those ideas and run with them and create something awesome with them. And she's definitely, either her or her family or her mother or something has created this awesome costume for her. And I love this idea and that illustration of her as a jellyfish. The Knight of Cups is next. You can see he's there like holding his cup. He knows what emotionally fulfills him. He knows what he loves, and this is the soldier that always I get tongue-tied with this, I'm sorry, always follows his heart, and really you know, soldiers on doing what his heart like really beats for and his heart sings for. So cool illustration there. The Queen of Cups, beautiful illustration. I love the dark and creepiness of her, the little baby sitting down there, reminding her that she is like the mother of the court, the one always focused on other people's happiness and stuff. But she's definitely taken the time to like do her costume up as well, if she really is like a person in a costume, or she might just be this like green mother character. And just beautiful colors here, beautiful illustration. Interesting illustration of the Queen of Cups. She's actually taken the lid off of her cup, which is something we don't see in the Rider-Waite-Smith or anything. And she's not necessarily focused on it, she's focused on us. So that's kind of a new take on the Queen of Cups that we hadn't seen before. And we move to the King of Cups. And it's kind of the creature from the Black Lagoon there. You've got the like guy dressed up. You can see his ankles right there, so we know that he's in costume, whereas she might not be. But you can see they're like enjoying the fruits of his labor and all that he's achieved. He's made something out of the net that tried to catch him, and he's really just enjoying life. He knows what emotionally fulfills him. That inner soldier, that the Knight of Cups, has moved forward to find success with what emotionally fulfills him and what he loves. We move from the Suit of Cups to the Suit of Swords, and you can see there the hand holding the sword. I'm going to move through these a little bit more quickly because I feel like we have places to be and things to do, so, you know, you're getting an idea of these cards. The Two of Swords there, you can see the swords crossed, very similar to that of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but a little bit different. He's not sitting with his back to the water. He's got all the little graves and everything behind him, the cemetery, and he's taking that time to really look within. And that's my favorite part about the Two of Swords. Tuning out the distractions, silencing our minds. A great place to do that is a cemetery where there's really no sound. Just, you know, the quiet comfort of the people that have passed on, taking that time to look within so we can really trust ourselves and our minds. The Three of Swords, a collapsed pumpkin here that seems to have been run over, so that's a little bit sad. You know, oh, you could see candy and everything there too, so this might not have been a pumpkin, this might have been the candy. And you know, if you're going out trick-or-treating and someone steals your candy, or you drop it and somebody runs over it, that's definitely going to be a little bit of a heartbreak. Four of Swords, It's kind of like a Dracula there sitting in his coffin, you know, resting and reflecting before he begins. I like the fact that his sword is right there. It's a beautiful color, and it kind of shows, like, it honestly, like, it looks like I've got a shadow on here. It's that well done, showing the shadows that we have to face when we really take that time to rest and reflect and look within. And the fact that his sword there is sheathed, it shows there's no action right now. You need to take that time to look within so you can decide where you want to go moving forward. Five of Swords, you can see there, the princess has definitely taken over from the yellow crayon and the little the ogre or whatever right there, and she's the one winning. I love the meaning of the Five of Swords because you can be taken different ways. You know, do you see yourself as the one victor right here, or do you see yourself as the crayon crying? Are you the victor or the victim of your story? This is the Five of the suit of the mind. So when you change that mindset and start seeing yourself as the victor and not the victim, well, then you can take control of your life. And then that ogre back there is kind of asking you to do that. You know, which one do you see? Do you still see yourself and relate to the one that's been taken advantage of, or do you see yourself as the princess who's always taken advantage of? And maybe that's what you need to change because you haven't been nice to people. The Six of Swords is next, the card of leaving behind the stress to find a time of peace and harmony. When you're able to start seeing yourself as the victor and not the victim, you can find that peace and harmony. This reminds me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you know, the tunnel that you were walking or you were swimming through and it got really creepy. This is the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think they did it in the new one with newish one with Johnny Depp too, but yeah, it just reminds you that, like, spookiness and everything, you know, what could be waiting on the other side of this door. It might be happiness, it might be peace, it might be harmony, and it might not. So it's like you take a chance and you really leave the stress you're feeling presently behind so you can move forward and find something better. Seven of Swords is next, the Thief card of the tarot. You can, I love that little raccoon down there. That kind of reminds you, like, they're scavengers. They take things. They're little tricksters of the animal world. And you can see there, like, he's kind of with that little clown there that's taking everything away. And nobody can see them. They're in the middle of the night. So very cool illustration of the Thief card. An Eight of Swords is the mummy, kind of trapped in those wraps. Can't really move forward that fast, but he's moving forward. He's even got his little emperor or his pharaoh little hat on, which makes us think that, like, he knows his power and he knows his worth, so he's able to leave behind those feelings of being trapped and a prisoner of his mind and really move forward. He's even got his little shoes on right there, so he can walk away from what no longer serves him and really find his power and not feel like a prisoner in his life anymore. Nine of Swords, the card of being awakened at night by the, like, fear in our minds, anxiety and stuff like that, keeping us awake at night and giving us nightmares. Well, if there's a character looking like this beside me when I'm trying to sleep, I'm definitely going to be awake and scared too. So really cool illustration there, and I love her facial expression right there, if you can see it. Kind of like, I'm not dealing with you. I know you're not real. I know you're just dressed up and stuff like that. So when we're able to face those inner demons, Nine of Swords is very much a card of facing inner demons. You know, we can find the confidence we need to really give up those feelings and get the good night's rest that we deserve. Ten of Swords is next. You can see this cool illustration right here, kind of dark and creepy, like a puppet doll. I think that's what they're called, like worry dolls and stuff like that. And he's stabbing it there, so we can see the character that's done the damage right there. But we're able to, like, pick ourselves back up and really learn from those experiences, you know that ending, that feeling of, like, life not being fair, wanting to give up, throwing the towel, stuff like that, not letting the other people hold us back anymore and taking control of our minds can help us get back up and move forward and begin the next chapter of our stories. Page of Swords is next. You can see the illustration right there. Still new, still beginning, not quite ready to wield that sword, but he's trying and he's taking control. And taking control and really trusting our minds and stuff can help us begin where we want to begin. Knight of Swords, you can see there, he's breaking into a house, it looks like, but this is the knight that isn't afraid of chaos and turbulent times, so perhaps there is a reason he's breaking into this and he's not afraid of the danger that might be in there. Queen of Swords, you can see that beautiful illustration of her there, and she's got her dog and everything. I love the icy blue collar of this. It kind of shows how the Queen of Swords can be taken as, you know, not that nice of a person, and it's got the shadows there that we saw in a previous card. I don't remember which one it was, but I really just connect with those shadows right there, because, like, facing our shadows, facing our past, and really learn from it, and, you know, knowing that it's going to help us and help others when we're able to use that knowledge and experience to change the world a little bit, you know, staying logical and not letting the negative emotions hold us back. That's very much the energy of the Queen of Swords. She can be a little bit cold, you know, like giving you the cold shoulder and stuff like that at times, but She's a very kind person. The queens always have the compassion and empathy, even if she is the harsh, cold truth queen of the swords. But beautiful illustration, and I love that blue. We move on to the King of Swords there, and it's got the guy from Scream. I've honestly never watched any Scream movies, but that's what he screams to me. Funny, this guy from Scream screams to me. But you can see there, like, it's like he knows the danger that's outside, the lightning and everything coming down. But he's confident in himself, and he's staying logical and everything, and he's indoors because he knows that's where it's safe. We move to the Suit of Pentacles finally. We get to the Suit of Pentacles, the suit of earthly happiness and fulfillment. You can see there the pumpkin that has the little pentacle carved on it. Now I've got pictures of my pumpkin that I did this to myself. Okay, I'm lying. I didn't do it. I drew out the pattern and everything, and my husband was nice enough to actually carve it out of the pumpkin for me. But I had this little colored thing inside of it. This reminds me of it so much, and how you can take your ideas and really make something that you can be proud of. Make something, bring it into earthly presence and reality and stuff like that. And that's what they've done here, and they've handed the pumpkin. You can do anything with a pumpkin. I have a pumpkin now, which you'll see it in an upcoming video, I think, that I took blacklight paint. I'm going to do it on a blacklight and everything, because you don't necessarily have to carve a pumpkin to have a cool pumpkin. Although when I did this, it looked awesome when it had the color changing light in the middle. But you can have, you can take paint and you can draw things on it too. You can take construction paper and you can design like that. It doesn't have to be cut open or anything like that. You can just draw it. So this reminds us, this is such a creative time period, and around Halloween we can do so many creative things with it. We can do it any time of year, but in Halloween season it just seems like it's more fun and just cooler to actually do things. And that's what that makes me think of, is my awesome pumpkin that I had a few years ago. Two of Pentacles is next. You can see the balance there. She wants to dress up. The character and the cat, they want to dress up too, but they know the kids have to dress up as well, and they have to have fun. So it's a fun, enjoyable time for everyone. And when you're able to focus on the work that other people need you to do, and the fun and enjoyment too, life is more enjoyable and balanced. Three of Pentacles is next, the card of collaborating together. And you can see them all working together in that nice little field there, creating the scarecrow there and putting everything together. When it comes to our creative ideas, it's important that that we can ask for help if needed. We can get assistance or even inspiration from others. Don't be afraid to ask. We have the Four of Pentacles next. I love the sugar skull and the Dias de los Muertos. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but I hope you get what I mean. The character right there, very spooky looking, very much. I know how much worth I have. You've got all the pumpkins there with the pentacles on it. So he's taken the time, that pentacle we began with the Ace of Pentacles. He's taken the time to carve them into multiple ones. And he's really enjoying that fruits of his labor and sitting there appreciating all that he's achieved. Card of holding on to what we have for a rainy day, saving our money here and there. And you've got the pumpkins there. Perhaps they're not necessarily carved and they just barely did it so you can keep them longer. And I love that little dog there in the bottom too, because I had a dog that looked very similar to that. His name was Shiloh. Oh, and he was the sweetest dog in the world. I had him while I was growing up, so it was really hard for me to lose him, because he died of old age. But he reminds me so much of my dog Shiloh. We move to the Five of Pentacles next. You see the two characters there. They're wondering if they should go into this house or not. Perhaps they're down on their luck. You can actually see, if you look closely there, they don't have any candy in their bags. So they wonder, if they go to this house, are they going to get that candy? So it's reminiscent of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but a lot of times the illustrations we see of this five, they don't even consider the place they're walking past. They don't know if it can help, but these two definitely seem to think that they can help. Six of Pentacles is next, the card of the sharing is caring card, as I like to call it. And you can see there, the characters are getting the candy, and the guy's dressed up as a werewolf or something, and he's giving candy. Now this guy seems to have his tongue sticking out and he's ready for it, whereas this guy doesn't feel like he deserves it or something. But this guy's got the big bowl of candy, so I feel like he's definitely going to share what he's got with the other two. The Seven of Pentacles, we can see there the card of having patience. He's having patience as he waits for people to come to his party. He's very much dressed up like Elvis in 70s. I really like this illustration because it's so reminiscent of the 70s, the colors and everything. So maybe the Seven of Pentacles, 70s, kind of gives us that idea. But having patience as we wait for that party to start, having patience as we wait for the fruits of our labor to come out to fruition and stuff. Very, very cool illustration of this seven, showing our passion and ideas, even waiting for other people to pay attention to them, can definitely lead us to the success and wealth that we desire. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles, the card of working hard for the fruits of her labor, keep making those pentacles. You got Cruella de Vil dressed up right there in all of her Dalmatians. Not a great person. She wanted to make fur coats out of puppies. But it shows her willingness to work. You can see there she's got the paintbrush. She's the one painting all their faces. So she's taking that time to make her ideas a reality. She's done 7 of them, it seems. And this guy is not quite there yet, but she's ready to, like, put that on his face, like, create the Dalmatian face that she wants. And he's still holding the pentacle, suggesting, like, she's made him offer the other ones, and this will be the final success. And she's created the idea for her Halloween party that she wanted. The 9 of Pentacles is next. Beautiful illustration of the 9 of Pentacles. Very much reminiscent of Elvira. You can see her there. The Mistress of the Night, I think she's called. But you can see there the success and wealth that comes with the beautifully and financially successful female. A lot of times we see females here, but it doesn't matter, man or woman. If you believe in yourself and you take those passions and you grow them, you can find success with them, and you can purchase whatever you want, such as this awesome tarot deck I'm sharing with you now. 10 of Pentacles is next, the card of generations coming together to celebrate family. And this is the Monsters. I don't know if you remember the Monsters. Rob Zombie did a movie of the Monsters a few years back. It's an awesome movie, but like this is reminiscent of like the original like TV show. It was in black and white, but it's such a cool illustration. I love this, and this kind of reminds you like, the TV shows from history and different things, they can inspire us even today, no matter how old they are. And it's just, I think this might be my favorite illustration in the entire deck. I loved the Monsters when I was a kid. And it just shows like how much creativity and work and inspiration went into this deck and how cool it is. Page of Pentacles is right here. You can see dressed up as a cool zombie rabbit as he's taking brains out of a cooler, and it just shows like, focused on what he wants to achieve. First, you got to have a healthy breakfast or a healthy meal in order to find that energy you need to create what you want. The Knight of Pentacles, the soldier that isn't afraid of the hard work and effort that goes in to achieve his goals, no matter how boring and mundane it might be. And you can see there, like, he's put work into his costume. It might not be as like creative and as fancy as, say, some of the other illustrations we've seen in this deck, but he's put the work in, no matter how boring it was. He's even got his little Pokemon necklace right there, and his shield that he's created. And, he's dressed up and he's ready for his party. And this just reminds us, like, if we really want to succeed, if we really, like, just say, for example, a Halloween party or something, you got to put that work and effort in, to create the perfect costume. And he's done that. He's created the costume that he's wanted. He's got his hat, he's got his little wand right there or whatever, and he's got his shoes and everything, and he's put the work in, no matter how boring it was, to really create what he wanted. Queen of Pentacles is next, and you can see the illustration right there, eating the fruits of her labor. It kind of reminds you of like Hansel and Gretel. She's got the little doll in the cage and everything, and she's sitting in front of this big stove, and it kind of shows like, it gives me the idea of never letting go of that inner child. No matter how old we get, we can still dress up, we can still have fun for Halloween, we can still do what we want to do and create the lives that we want, the earthly lives that we really want to live. No matter how old we are, we can still appreciate all the things that life has to offer. And then the final card in the deck is the King of Pentacles. Cool illustration there, like silly looking little guy, very hillbilly and stuff like that. If we look closer, yes, this is what's the beauty of tarot and really looking at. There's Red Riding Hood's hood, and he's kind of sitting there cleaning his teeth out and everything, looking at the pentacle, which suggests that he's eaten Little Red Riding Hood. There's her basket and everything. So, that was his goal. That's what he wanted to do, and he did that. So, soldiering on towards what you want to achieve, no matter how boring or disturbing it might be, you can achieve your monetary goals. So that is the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and Jonathon Hunt. You see the illustrations there. I have heard tell, and so I'm holding these in my hand. I can tell you they are not the best quality deck, but if you're careful with it, you can see how thin they are right there. If you're careful with it, there is no problem with it. Beautiful orange and purple illustrations on the back with just hints of green, and you can flip it over and you can't tell what is upright and reverse, so that is awesome. Beautifully done illustrations. Like, there's so many cards here that I just absolutely love, especially that 10 of Pentacles. I'll just keep going back to that because the Monsters is such a fun TV show. If you could find it like online streaming or something, I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. But here we have the guidebook as well, and I showed you that earlier, and it's got the different meanings in there. It's not quite as long as some of them, but it's got like the meaning right there and the keywords and even the reversed keywords right there. So it'll help you read with this deck if you can't, like if the intuitive juices aren't really flowing. But that was a look at the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and Jonathon Hunt. I truly hope that you enjoyed watching this video. As I unboxed it, you know, you're seeing it the same time I did. Like, I'm sure there's thousands of videos about this deck out there, but this was my take on it, and this is how I felt about the cards. As I said, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can purchase it for yourself, for your own collection if it calls to you. Also, if you want a reading with this deck or any of the decks in my collection, then feel free to comment on this video. Leave me a message on any of the socials, or go to my website and book one directly from there, because this deck is totally available for any reading that you want. I really want an excuse to like read with this deck. I think it's so cool. So awesome to add it to my collection. Very excited about that. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.